Welcome back to another review, and today I'm going to be doing an unboxing of the DC Batman Adventures Batman 16 accessories, 4 pluses from Spin Master, whose bag, 16 armor accessories, cape included. Let's open it up.
First quarter results, highlighted by 32% Atlas revenue growth. It says we had a slower than expected start to the year for both Atlas consumption growth and new workload wins, which will have a downstream impact for the remainder of fiscal 2025. Stock of Google is now down 24.5%. Big move for MongoDB. Billy Borsten, thank you. Mike Santoli, I'm going to go to you on this one, given what we've now heard from MongoDB in terms of that lighter than expected guidance. We've heard from Salesforce, we've heard from Workday last week, and a number of others. It really is not so different than retail where the consumer is concerned. On the software and tech side, it really is a mixed bag, and it really depends on the company and depends on the product.
It depends on all of those things, whether you're in the way of the big, budget crunch going in the direction of the AI and related areas, or a big downward revision cycle going into this reporting period, continuing from there. So obviously, that's where the market's sort of selling first and then figuring out details later. What I do find interesting, though, Ulta has been pre-sold into all this, down only 1% on kind of a miss. Even it was up today because people read through Sephora's numbers, thought that there was good things going on in beauty. There was a $560 stock, recently, several weeks ago, a couple months ago, let's say. So, this is a really interesting report. I think from MongoDB, I view it as sort of a smaller tech, but up-and-coming tech bandwagon. Different reasons for these guidance misses between Salesforce, Nutanix, and Mongo. Huge reasons. Okay, now that's really our outlook to Repco. Back to you with that.
Hey, John, so a big beat for Gap on earnings and a beat on revenue, too. It's a strong sign as the company tries to revive its brand and win back shoppers. It reported 41 cents versus 14 cents expected on revenue. Gap reported $3.4 billion versus $3.29 billion expected. The company raised its guidance, citing...
Here's Batman out of the box. You can move his arms,
But it also noted continued
you can move his legs,
consumer and macro
and you can turn his head.
Interestingly, same-store sales were positive across brands such as Nike, Athleta, and Athleta was actually the strongest brand
And here's the pieces.
in regards to Palantir in the last 24 hours. We'll continue
continues to monitor that. In the meantime, Dell's big run has been the top of Wall Street as the company gets caught up in the AI hype, but the stock, as we've mentioned, it's tanking in overtime. It's now down about 13.5%. We're going to talk to an analyst about this afternoon's results that are pulling the stock lower.
And later in news, Burger Berman President Joe Amato is going to join us to talk about this renewed bout of volatility in the market and where he's advised the clients to put money to work this summer. Overtime's back in June.
The biggest idea is buying new. 30 years ago, State Street created an ETF that inspired the world to invest differently. It still does. What can you do with SPY?
Ameritrade is now part of Schwab, bringing you an elevated experience tailor-made for trader minds. Go deeper with Thinkorswim, our award-winning trading platform. Unlock support from the Schwab Trade Desk, our team of passionate traders who live and breathe trading. And sharpen your skills with immersive online education crafted just for traders. All so you can trade brilliantly.
In the military, you're trained to conceal yourself from your enemies. But online, you're a prime target. Now more than ever, our service members, veterans, and their families are being targeted for identity theft and other online scams. The impacts can be devastating on finances, careers, and our national security. Go to fightcybercrime.org. Learn how to recognize and report and recover from cybercrime and protect yourself and our military and veteran community.
Welcome back. Shares of Dell falling double digits despite posting a beat on the top and bottom line. Joining us now is Evercore ISI Senior Managing Director Amit Daryanani. He has an outperform rating of $65 price target. It's great to have you on, and I'm just going to start right there. Why is the stock down so much? Is it just a reflection of the environment we're in here and investor sentiment and how big the expectations were going into this report?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think the last part of what you said, right? Expectations are really high into the print. The stock, I don't know, like 120% for the year, 30-40% in the last month alone. It's the bogey that we kept hearing the whole, into the thing was the backlog needed to be something north of $4 billion, $4.5 billion, and that number, I think, given that $3.8 billion is a great number, personally, for the long-term trajectory, but that number did miss the buy-side whispers, and I suspect given the run-up on the stock, that is what's really driving the reaction up market.
What to make of Infrastructure Solutions, which posted revenue of $9.2 billion, was up 22% year over year. They said record servers and networking revenue, which was up 42%. We know this has a direct correlation to NVIDIA and GPUs and the build-out of that infrastructure and those AI capabilities. Did it need to be stronger? I guess just how to think about the growth they're seeing there versus everything else that the company makes.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I actually, one of the issues they've had with this backlog number is they were able to ship a lot more AI servers than we expected them to, right? And so, the expectation into the sprint was they might ship 1 to 1.2 billion of AI servers. They ended up doing 1.7 billion of it, right? If you take that extra 500-600 million, that would put that backlog bogey 3.8 billion in the mid-4s very comfortably, right? And so part of the dynamic, I think, is the revenue recognition from AI servers is improving very well. Could be a reflection of perhaps the bottlenecks around NVIDIA and GPU allocations that are starting to alleviate. I think that's the incremental positive sign for the entire ecosystem. You still have to wait to listen to their guide for the full year in terms of what AI servers are going to do for the for the fiscal year for them right now.
I mean, some really interesting cross currents I see here. I mean, NetApp and Pure on the storage side of hardware, software have moved higher in a way after earnings. A Pure lost those gains. NetApp has them right now after its report. Snowflake is down 3.5% right now. No report, maybe just on the environment itself. How much valuation shift do you think we're going to get based on the excitement there's been over transformation, over AI, as some of these guidance numbers get sobering? Maybe sobering is too strong a word.
No, listen, there's certainly a bit of a reality check that this is not a straight line up. There's going to be bumps around the way, if you may. I do think if you listen to Pure, if you listen to NetApp, and the debt numbers actually stand out a bit in terms of the fact that they had no growth, storage was plotted for them. Storage, I think, away from AI, is seeing a really good cyclical recovery, and you're seeing this in Pure and NetApp and a few other companies. The expectation for Dell, and one of on the call is there a story about a stronger, higher attach rate of storage with AI servers? Because that could certainly help the margin profile for this company. One of the things I'll tell you that really stands out is in the infrastructure business, operating margins were down a couple hundred basis points to about 8.5%. Essentially, then these AI servers are coming in at very low 2-3% operating margins right now for them.
All right, and the Darinani Banks. We're going to talk to George Kurian over at NetApp tomorrow. I'll tell you what he says if it's interesting. Meanwhile, Costco earnings are out. Melissa Repko back yet again with the numbers.
Lots of retail earnings today. Costco beat on the top and bottom lines on it. Reported earnings per share of $3.78. That was an 8-cent beat. For revenue, it reported $58.52 billion. That was better than the $58.07 that was expected. And same-store sales were up 6.6% across the company, including the impact of gasoline prices and currency exchange. In the U.S., same-store sales were up 6.2%, and online sales were a standout in the quarter, with e-commerce sales up 20.7%, John.
Interesting. Moderating inflation, maybe not so bad for them after all. Melissa, thanks.
Thanks.
After the break, Neuberger Berman president and CIO Joe Amato, who oversees nearly $500 billion under management, shares his latest thinking on this market. Plus, we'll get his take on Nelson Peltz's decision to sell his stake in Disney. You remember, Neuberger Berman had supported Peltz's director candidates before last month's shareholder vote. We'll be right back.
Here's to the benefits of a good stress test. To learning what a product can and can't handle under volatile conditions. It's not only good for consumer products, but for financial ones. So at Federated Hermes, we put our investments through a ruthless vetting process. Because we believe if an investment can survive in our world, it can survive in yours. Federated Hermes, vetting for a volatile world.
Cars look great when they're new, but fade over time. With Cerakote, it's easy to restore your vehicle to look like new again. Restore cloudy headlights with Cerakote's Headlight Restoration Kit. And wipe away faded and oxidized trim with Cerakote's Trim Coat. Get unsurpassed shine and slickness with Cerakote's Rapid Ceramic Paint Sealing. Make your tires look better than new with Cerakote's Tire Coat. Cerakote's #1 selling family of products have over 40,000 5-star reviews and are available for under $20 at these leading retailers today.
Did you know GoodRx can help you get a better price on your family's prescriptions?
I just opened the app, typed in the name of our meds. That's it. Savings on my asthma medication. All right, round two, baby, round two. Savings on my husband's blood pressure refills. And savings on my daughter's allergies.
Prescription savings for the whole family.
Have a good one.
Another good reason to check GoodRx.
Whatever your business needs, Vistaprint prints it. Yeah, Vistaprint. Like Rachel needed fun packaging, so Vistaprint designed and printed new stickers, tape, and thank you cards. Corley and Ducky needed to get their brand out there, so they printed new t-shirts, bottles, and caps. And Tasha, well, she needed a total refresh, so Vistaprint made her a new logo, and all that. Because with Vistaprint, the printabilities are endless. Print it all with 25% off for new customers at Vistaprint.com.
When my dad was my basketball coach, he benched me. I used that as fuel to be able to become the player that I am today. During a tough game, I'm super nervous, but I'm so poised. I'm trying to see things a step ahead, especially when it comes to my jump shot. I am all eyes on that ball until I release it from the tip of my fingers. When I think about ambition, I think about determination to execute. Whether that's on court or off court, firing off on all cylinders. And I just love this game. So excited to share with the world.
The Olympics from Paris starts July 26th on NBC and Peacock.
Everybody wants to know if the economy's running too hot or if it's fine. That's the key to the best next food. But we can't come up with a new very difficult day. We can't let a single iron frustrate the whole thing.
Mad Money, weeknights 6 Eastern, CNBC.
Welcome back. It's been a downbeat week for the Bulls, with the major averages tracking to close out the month of May in the green. Our next guest says more volatility could be on the way. Joining us now is Joe Amato from Neuberger Berman. The firm oversees $474 billion in assets. Joe, it certainly got some volatility peaked in overtime yesterday. It was Salesforce. Today, Dell and MongoDB are down a bit, but
There we go.
is up 14.5%. Elastic is higher as well. What's driving the volatility that you see ahead?
Hi, John. Nice to be with you this afternoon. I think the volatility that you're seeing in some of the stocks you referenced are probably more a function of the dispersion going on in the economy really below the surface. And as much as we're confident on overall levels of economic growth, first quarter was okay. Second quarter seems to be running at a reasonable clip. Below the surface, there's still a lot of grinding that's going on. There are companies that are doing well, companies that are doing poorly, and that bifurcation, I think, is only going to continue and create additional volatility. If you look at earnings of large cap companies, right, the first quarter earnings by and large were pretty strong, right? They were up high single digits. But if you look at small caps, right, the Russell 2000 earnings were down about 9% in the first quarter. So that gives you an indication of the level of sort of bifurcation going on and dispersion going on in the economy.
So in this environment, how do you decide what the fair price to pay for hypothetical future earnings or even real future earnings, especially for smaller caps when you don't know where interest rates are going to be?
Well, certainly we do a lot of, bottom-up fundamental work on individual companies. And, not every company is driven just by interest rates. Certainly interest rates and the level of interest rates have an effect. And the tightening of financial conditions that we've seen over the course of the last 18 months or so is certainly having its effect, particularly on smaller companies. And that's a big reason why you're seeing this bifurcation. But we take a very long-term approach. And we think, the direction of travel on inflation is lower. May take longer, as you guys have certainly talked about. We think the direction of travel on rates is lower, and I think from a long-term standpoint, from an equity perspective, we think that creates a reasonably constructive environment for risk taking.
How should we be thinking about the fiscal spending environment here? Because on the one hand, you can argue that it's helping to buoy economic growth. Yes, I realize the first quarter GDP number was just revised slightly lower, but it's been a big part of that, those government dollars that have gone out into parts of the economy, some of these mega infrastructure projects and the like that are starting to be carried out. On the other hand, it means a lot more borrowing, and we're seeing that impact in the bond market too.
Morgan, you raise a really important point. The whole question of debt sustainability, I think, is going to rear its ugly head at some point. And I think right now many are sort of watching this political environment closely, trying to gauge what's going to happen in November, and then once that's decided, you'll have a better sense for, okay, what's the fiscal outlook? Will you have an extension of tax cuts? Will you have more spending? Will you have some level of fiscal discipline? And I think that's a big issue that's hanging out there, and one that we worry a lot about right now and over the course of the last couple of years. The fiscal spend has certainly helped, as you say, buoy economic growth, but you can't do that forever. And the debt levels as a percent of GDP, if you continue the spending trend you're seeing right now, it's going to be a pretty ugly picture going out 10 or 20 years from now. So it's clearly not something that we think makes a lot of sense, and the politicians are going to have to come together and figure out how to create a more disciplined fiscal picture.
So the last time you were on with us, we asked you about Disney, because we had that very heated proxy fight. Nelson Peltz, you basically supported a health position on Disney. We get the news in the last, call it 12, 24 hours, and Peltz pulled out of his stake of Disney. I just want to get your thoughts on that, and more broadly, what this proxy season and what the increase in activist investor pressures on companies has meant.
larger picture is, look, we take our role as owners of companies really, really seriously, right? We want to be very engaged with companies. In the case of Disney, that issue was around, in our view, the important decision the board has to make on succession at some point down the road, who is going to succeed Bob Iger. And as has been much talked about, the last decision that board made was not a particularly good one. So we felt that another set of independent eyes and ears in the context of those board discussions, as well as the succession plan made a lot of sense. We think ultimately choosing the CEO is probably the most important job for the board. Broadly, in the context of proxy season, I'm certainly seeing much more engagement from shareholders with companies and vice versa, which we think is a great thing. As you've seen passive increase their ownership of companies, most companies may be 30% owned by passive investors. That's not really active engagement. And we think it's an important element of the efficient capital allocation process for shareholders, active shareholders like us, to engage with companies.
All right. Well, thank you for engaging with us and bringing that perspective. Joe Amato from the Burger.
Well, it's time now for a CNBC News update with Peppa Stevens.
The jury in the Trump hush money trial has now been deliberating for more than 9 hours and are expected to finish for the day any minute. The jurors began their second day of deliberations after a readback this morning of jury instructions and testimony from former Trump lawyer Michael Cohen and former National Enquirer publisher David Schiffer. A U.S. official confirmed to NBC News that the Biden administration has secretly given permission to Ukraine to strike inside Russia using U.S. weapons. Politico first reported the news, and the permission is said to only extend to the area near Kharkiv, Ukraine's second largest city, adding that the policy to ban long-range strikes inside Russia, such as an attack on Moscow, has not changed. And Chief Justice John Roberts today declined to meet with Democratic senators about ethics issues with the court after the recent controversy over the flying of certain flags at Justice Alito's home. Roberts cited concerns about maintaining judicial independence as the reason. John and Morgan, back to you.
All right, Peppa Stevens, thank you. After the break, Mike Santoli looks at the surprising list of hot tech stocks that are not in the S&P 500, including 2 of today's earnings movers.
Speaking of earnings, take a look at shares of Elastic, the enterprise search company, beating on earnings by a penny at 21 cents per share. Revenue also above estimates of $235 million. Guidance mostly higher as well. We'll be right back.
And there we go. If I really like this Batman toy, it's probably the coolest thing ever. We never talk about how Batman do it. He fight crimes and defeat Joker. But I have to say, I like this toy. If I know this, sometimes toys are not always due. But it's so cool. Now, could you have more in your collection? I bet it is. Now, this toy has a lot of features to tell you. It has a lot of cooler details on it, and has one particulars about this toy. I built it together and I liked it. I really like how Batman loves fighting crimes. Thanks for watching the DC Batman Adventures Batman 12 Vintage Figure. Bye.